What's up guys, Steven here, and greetings here from the World Festival 2019, and today I'm here with another camera comparison between the latest flagships. So we have here the Sony Xperia 1, the Huawei P30 Pro and the brand new LG G8s ThinQ. So today in this camera review we'll check out which camera smartphone here is the best.
Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche, we're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow, we can't miss now. I'm done living life with the lights up, died with my own doubts.
So guys, greetings from the amazing World Festival 2019, and today it's time for another camera comparison between the king of photography, the P30 Pro, the newcomer, the Xperia 1, and the underrated LG G8s ThinQ. The P30 Pro is the oldest device, rocking a Leica quad camera system with a 40 megapixel quad sensor that produces 10 megapixel image output, a 20 megapixel super wide angle 60mm equivalent, a stabilized telephoto camera that uses folded optics to achieve a 5 times optical zoom factor, 125mm equivalent, and a time of flight TOF sensor. The Xperia 1 features a triple camera. Here you have a wide-angle standard 26mm f1.6 lens, a 2x telephoto lens at 52mm f2.4, and a super wide-angle lens which gives you 60mm f2.4. The LG G8s comes also with a triple camera. You've got a 12 megapixel standard shooter, a 13 megapixel ultra-wide 137 degrees field of view, and a 12 megapixel 2x telephoto snapper. So let's check out some images and let's compare the quality. But before I give you my opinion, check out the quality for yourself and let me know down below in the comments what you think. So all the smartphones produce some nice looking pics under daylight conditions, but still there are plenty of differences. The Sony is quite new and the software needs some polishing, as always with Sony smartphones. I also noticed a few bugs where pics just show up as black in the gallery and some issues in the app. When it comes to quality, the Xperia 1 is a marked improvement over its predecessor, the X3. Photos from all three cameras grab punchy shots in good light, with healthy amounts of saturation and detail. The UI also gives you options to fine-tune white balance after focusing, even in automatic mode. And this is a joy in challenging lighting conditions. However, sometimes there are blown out highlights in auto metering where you need to manually adjust the exposure. There's also no option to dial black granular elements like contrast and saturation in the settings, and there's no raw shooting either, even in manual mode. However, pics have really good natural colors, that's where Sony really excels the competition. We all know about the P30 Pro, there are tons of reviews out there. My summary is that dynamic range is not quite as wide as it was on the Mate 20, but still pretty good. Some clipping can occur in the highlights, but the images are a little bit more contrasty overall than with previous Huawei models. However, I prefer to shoot in manual mode with RAW rather than auto. Also, Master AI tends to oversaturate and oversharpen your images. So if you prefer a natural look, keep this off and do your editing in Snapseed or other editors. Overall, the P30 Pro is really good under daylight conditions and even better if you shoot RAW and do the edit on your own. The LG G8s features a 12 megapixel f1.8 27mm, a 12 megapixel f2.6 49mm telephoto and a 13 megapixel f2.4 40mm ultra-wide camera. So a little bit different than the G8. But generally the lenses are a bit wider and have a slightly lower maximum aperture. I actually expected better results. Both in daylight and in the dark, snapshots show visible image noise and colors were not really accurate. In terms of dynamic range, the G8s ThinQ does really well, but in comparison with the best smartphone cameras available at the moment, its dynamic range is a touch more limited, with slightly more highlight clipping in the brightest parts and shadow clipping in the darkest parts of the image. When it comes to low light, the LG G8s does not have the P30 Pro's extraordinary night vision capabilities, and you can take a closer look to these in my P30 Pro low light test. But it does quite well when your eyes can see. The G8s captures slightly fuzzier photos than the Galaxy S10 and the P30 Pro because it often relies on a slower aperture speed to gather more light during the photo capture, which also results in more motion blur. By dropping the pixel count and opening up the primary camera lens to f1.6, the Xperia 1 is also the first Sony phone that's truly competitive in low light. Unlike flagships from Samsung and Huawei, it doesn't artificially brighten up dark scenes, it keeps them really dark and moody. Low light shots in turn look good with respectable amounts of noise and detail, and the white balance tends to be accurate most of all the time. Though if you're after maximum exposure and minimum light, look somewhere else. The P30 Pro in low light is one of the champions. Low light imaging is where the Huawei P30 Pro really shines. I've personally never seen a phone camera that can capture as much light in dark scenes as the Huawei P30 Pro. It seems to find light even in completely dark areas. The auto mode on this device does really a better job than the Pixel 3 using its night sight mode. And if given just a tiny bit of light, images show only minimal noise. Moving into video capabilities, the Xperia 1 builds on the successes that Sony has had in the past, such as 4K HDR video introduced on the X2 and not to mention 960fps slow motion bursts. What really differentiates it from all the other phones is the Cinema Pro app. HDR video is available too, and you can capture 4K HDR clips with the main and telesnappers only. There is no HDR on the ultra wide angle cam. So here are some quick videos compared to the LG G8s and the P30 Pro, and let me know in the comments what you like more. A full review on the Xperia 1 video quality is in the making and comes soon.
Hey guys, here's a quick front-facing camera test for the Huawei P30 Pro. And we're currently recording here in 1080p on the smartphone, and the HDR feature is currently on, so the sky looks really nice and blue. And so far I have to say front-facing camera on the Huawei is good, but the recording limit here is also 1080p, but you can choose the codec H.265, H.264. So let me know your comments down below. Alright guys, so here's a quick front-facing camera test on the LG G8s, and so far, well, we have good lighting conditions, so everything here looks fine, sky really blue, there is nothing burned out so far as I can see. Still looks a little bit soft on the screen right now, but check it right now on your computer and let me know your thoughts down below. Hey guys, so here's a quick front-facing camera recording test on the Sony Xperia 1, and so far it looks like it has really good dynamic range. It's just a little bit weird when you hold the phone like a chocolate bar, like it's really tall. But other than that, the front-facing camera on the Xperia, at least right now on the screen, looks really good. So check it out on your computer and yeah, let me know your comments down below.
Switching to the front-facing camera of the Xperia 1, when there's plenty of light, you can count on very detailed selfies with really true colors. In less than ideal light, the images quickly turn out softer, but they still look plenty nice in fit-to-screen magnifications. For the front, the Huawei P30 Pro gets a 32 megapixel selfie camera settled within the tiny U-shaped notch. This camera has a fixed focus as well and an aperture of f2.0. Pictures can look a bit artificial compared to the Xperia 1, but still it looks pretty good and very sharp and detailed. Then LG has definitely stepped up its game when it comes to selfies. Surely the 8 megapixel sensor, which is comparably a bit small on the front, isn't anything groundbreaking. But the wider aperture helps to capture more light, and the autofocus makes sure your mug is always in the focus. Dynamic range is once again good, while detail is nice given the low 8 megapixel resolution. So that's basically it with this quick camera comparison, and I really hope that you liked it. Anyway, we had a lot of fun on the Volt Festival, and we'll bring you also some videos from the Balaton Sound Festival and the most amazing festival in Europe, the Sigurd Festival. So if you're there, let me know and we can meet up. Also check out the link to grab your ticket down below in the description. So when it comes to videos, the Xperia 1 is a true cinematic beast, and the P30 Pro is still one of the best raw picture shooting camera smartphones out there. The LG G8 is an okay all-rounder, but to be honest I expected a bit more. But still all good phones, and when you check the pictures there's a lot of personal preference of what kind of style you like. So let me know down below in the comments what you guys prefer and what you're buying. So big thanks for watching. As always guys, I'm Steven from Tech Magnet with my buddy Balázs from Tech Video, so check out his channel also down below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Have a nice day and bye!